So I'm going to be discussing quantitative data, qualitative data, and mixed method data. So firstly, I'm going to be discussing quantitative data, and this is objective and a systematic process in which numerical data is mainly used for. You can use it for weight, height, taking in percentages, statistics. So yeah, it's just taking in numbers. Um, this this is used especially in sports science because it's an easy way to get information of an individual or in a group. It's mainly used in a group because it's quick to do, and you can do it so quick. It doesn't take a lot of time. But the disadvantages of this is that it's vague. You can't get a lot from like groups or from individuals. So, for example, if you went out there and you wanted to see how often people go to the gym a week, you'd only get a number. You would not get specific reasons why, like behind the reason why they might only go once or twice a week. Secondly, is qualitative data, and this is taking in emotions, opinions, feelings, and thoughts. So when you ask an individual why, for example, they've said something, it, this is the answer. Like this is the type of data that it uses because it's taking in the thoughts and like why they've said maybe they didn't enjoy doing something or they struggled doing something or they wouldn't do something again. It gives the researcher a broader like mindset, so they have more things to talk about when talking in the research. It helps them understand why the individuals which have took part in the research have said they've struggled or have said they would not do it again. So it's more specific, but the only thing about this is it's time consuming, and you can't do it with big groups like you can do with quantitative data. With qualitative data, it's hard to do it with big groups because there's so much you need to take into consideration and so much to remember. Therefore, it's hard. But on the other hand, it can be flexible and it makes it easier for the researcher. It's not just one worded answers. It's not one worded answers. So then you get mixed method data, and this is using both quantitative and qualitative research. So this is a mixture of both non-numerical and numerical. So it's looking at numbers. So say if I wanted to go out and look at the impact energy drinks have on individuals' cardiovascular endurance, I would use quantitative data to see how far the individual have run whilst drinking an energy drink, and then use the qualitative data to say why they think they've run this distance and why they think they haven't done as well, why they think they struggled, etc. And the reason why mixed method research is used because it takes the disadvantages of the quantitative data and covers it with the qualitative data. So for example, quantitative data is only numerical, but then if you use qualitative data, it covers that because you can take thoughts and feelings into consideration. So further, it don't have to be as accurate. So if a percentage or statistic isn't as accurate, you can use qualitative data to cover that. Do you know what I mean? So you can further cover the reason why that percentage is not accurate, or you can explain why that percentage is that percentage. So now I'm going to be talking about the similarities and differences. So The similarities between qualitative and quantitative data is that both focus on the reason why something in the research has appeared. They also focus on the hypothesis. Both quantitative and qualitative focus on the hypothesis. So why it's impacted the hypothesis in a positive or a negative way. For example, if a researcher wanted to look at the impacts caffeine has on an individual, they would use they would use both. They can use both, for example. So the use of quantitative data would test that hypothesis either way, because a number of people might be impacted and a number of people might not be. And then with qualitative data, looking at the hypothesis again, you'll say why the hypothesis has changed, why it hasn't changed. The differences, on the other hand, between the two researches is, again, one is just looking at numbers, one is numerical, and that is quantitative, whereas qualitative is looking at opinions, thoughts, and feelings. Furthermore, quantitative data looks at big groups. It lets you look at like a wide range of people, whereas qualitative is only a small group. Because if it was a big group, then you'd struggle because of how much people you're trying to take feelings into consideration, thoughts into consideration, and then looking at mixed method and quantitative data. Similarities first, mixed method is very quick and sharp, and so is quantitative. Quantitative data doesn't look at thoughts and feelings, it's just straight. Mixed method, again, is time consuming because you're trying to do both, looking at quantitative and qualitative. But when you're only doing quantitative, it doesn't take time, but with mixed method it does. And then again, looking at the similarities of quantitative and mixed method is that you can analyze and find mistakes very quick, like it's easy to see with numbers and percentages, because that's all quantitative data is. So for example, if I put 10 people on a track and they take in a simple carbohydrate, then they do a sprint, like a 200-meter sprint. Using quantitative data, I would see straight away who the slowest person is, and they would be circled out as what? Not an anomaly, but you can clearly see that person has struggled, for example. But with mixed method, it will have qualitative data in there, so it will be hard to quickly see that person that struggled. Further looking at the differences of mixed method and qualitative data this time. So the major differences between the two is qualitative looks at smaller groups because it needs to take into consideration thoughts and feeling. Therefore, you can evaluate and have a deeper understanding of the participants. Whereas mixed method does do that as well, because you've got qualitative and it does look at thoughts and feelings, but it's not into depth as much as qualitative, because mixed method has a bit of quantitative in there. Qualitative data needs to be like you need to take time when you're doing it. It needs to be like slowly done, processed, because you need to get everything in there. But that's the same with mixed method, because you're trying to balance both. You need to do both things correctly and not like have it unbalanced. Another reason that you can make the two similar is that they both look at so say if there was a percentage in there, both qualitative and mixed method would say why that percentage is in there. Thank you.